NEOC. Culturama 47 festivities have been approved in a virtual form. So you will see it will be a virtual edition of Culturama 47. So I want to thank Antonio Lyburn and his team on Nevis for working very hard to ensure that there is some form of Culturama in Nevis. And this will be done innovatively, creatively through a virtual platform. Our understanding is that there will be a Soca Monarch tent that would start on the 28th of August, a senior Calypso tent on the 29th, and on the 4th of September, there will be a Soca Monarch semifinal. And Sunday the 5th, there will be a senior Calypso semifinal.
Mm-hmm.
And they will have a culture pot on the 16th, which is National Heroes Day. The Poet in the Square, which would have been held at the War Memorial Square, we have advised them, meaning that the Culturama Committee, to have the activity moved to another location and done virtually. The Soca Monarch contest will also be on the 17th and 18th, the Division Heritage Day and Senior Calypso tent. And Sunday, the 19th of September, which is our Independence Day, there will be a fashion show. Monday the 20th, there will be a dramatic presentation. Again, we have asked that only the persons who will be carrying out support staff functions and those who will be participating in the events to be permitted at these venues. According to a press release, this is a statement by Abdia Samuel, by the way. According to a press release from the Nevis Island Administration, it stated that events to be held by the Ministry of Tourism, the St. George's Development Committee, and the Nevis Theatre Guild are not virtual. They all sought individual permission from the task force and were granted permission to stage their events.
Mm-hmm.
So, there's your update.
Yeah, it's. I mean, it's good that there's something happening. That's why I was so tired, because I kept going to Nevis every night last week and getting back just before curfew. But yeah, the show last night was great. I think there was a lot of songs that spoke about COVID, of course, but there was also stuff that some very interesting topics. In the Calypso show, the Soca Monarch was on Saturday. That was also a good show. I think the final is going to be interesting. It's no clear winners yet coming out of the two tents, but I must say that they've done a lot to ensure that the protocols are being observed, and that I had to give all kind of information to enter the venue. You know what I mean? Everybody who's at the venue is accounted for, contact tracing, ensure you have on your mask and that kind of thing. So stuff's happening, but it's definitely not what they would have liked. Bro, you know what I was thinking about all weekend? I'm sorry to rehash this, but
Tell me more.
Remember when Culturama was supposed to happen, one of the events they were talking about was a fully vaccinated t-shirt mask.
Mm-hmm.
So, based on everything that's happening now, the t-shirt mask would have had no music as well?
Oh, next me.
No, I be wondering how that was gonna work. But anyway.
Don't mix me.
What I know. I don't know anything. Bye. Anyway.
In other news, Jocelyn Hernandez has dropped her music video for Live Your Best Life, which is currently my favorite song.
What? She did what?
It's not news.
Jocelyn Hernandez has been wilding the last few months.
Love it. I love it.
You have where do you watch her show? You have the Zeus Network?
On Zeus. Maybe.
Okay. On Zeus. Got you.
Maybe.
Yeah, on Zeus. I got you. By Jocelyn's cabaret seems to just be wild.
I love it. Love it.
Oh, wow.
Anyway, before I get excited in all the ratchetry, let me move on.
Oh my
because
gosh. You do like
nonsense is my ministry. Eh?
I was about to say you look like one of those people who would like sit on their couch like wrapped up in like a snuggie with popcorn and just enjoy ratchetness.
Which is what I do frequently, to be completely honest. I'm not even joking. You know how many times I've watched Flavor of Love and Charm School? Yeah.
Oh,
anyway, so let's give you some updates. More tea time.
Indeed.
So let's give you some CPL updates. So St. Kitts and Nevis Patriot player Mikhail.
I think at this point, I think we could take some liberty with his name.
M. Lewis.
M. Lewis.
I don't know how to pronounce his name. I don't know if it's Michael or Mikhail, but let's go with M. Lewis. He was forced to leave the 2021 Hero Caribbean Premier League (CPL) after a breach of the tournament's operating protocols. He will take no further part in this year's competition, a media release has said. The tournament bubble will be maintained for the entire duration of the tournament, and no one from outside the bubble will be allowed in at any of the bubble locations. Conversely, no one from inside the bubble will be allowed outside the main bubble areas. Persons who break these rules will be expelled from the tournament, no exceptions. That is what the 2021 protocol states. Speaking on the incident, Heroes CPL Tournament Operations Director Michael Hall said following the receipt of some tragic news about a close friend, the player took the unfortunate and ill-advised decision to leave the hotel bubble without permission. While the league is sympathetic about the circumstances which led to the player's decision, it cannot allow the integrity of its COVID-19 secure bubble to be compromised. So,
Yep. He was on the Patriots.
Situation.
Yeah, somebody's asking about what team he was on. He was actually a Patriot.
He's a Patriot. A quite unfortunate situation. You know, he heard some news and left the facility to, I guess, be there for this circumstance, and that led to him being terminated from the tournament.
Yeah.
Like we said, CPL said they're very understanding of the circumstance. However, they can't have the tournament at risk.
Yeah, I understand. I totally understand.
Such. I understand as well. It's sad that is what it is, but that is what it is.
Yeah, but to be honest, I mean, I figured there would have been some breaches at some point. I thought we'd make it to at least 2 or 3 weeks by.
Well, this was like a forced breach, though. Like something happened which led to the I'm not
judging his decision. Like I'm not judging the reason for his decision. Like
I'm saying that because that sort of doesn't count towards the 3-4 week thing.
Well, okay, yeah.
Because had this situation not happened, he would have not had to breach.
Yeah,
I don't think he would have breached, but. Yeah.
We done a man already,
okay.
But we've been winning. We're winning 2 games now, so we have to a good start. Home field advantage probably playing a big role, but I think the players that we have, because the last 2 games they weren't nail biters. I think we took care of the competition light work. So I'm looking forward to the remainder of the tournament. Even though we down a man, hoping that at the end of it we could still really celebrate with the home team and just really enjoy some cricket. But it's just good to have something going on. To be honest, it's just good to have something going on. How much longer do you think they can hold out on this no music thing? I don't think they can pass this week.
Still don't get it, but okay.
Yeah, I don't think it passes.
I don't even want to think about the answer to your question. I just still don't get it.
Yeah, it should not have happened in the first place. I understand. I totally understand. But yeah, speaking of music, I I grieved last night.
Tell me why.
So Jade sent out the stuff for last night, and I, scrolling through, I'm like, okay, and then boom, I see Grammy winning Jamaican music pioneer Lee Scratch Perry is dead. I'm like, what? What? Man, like that one there, like that one there was rough for me personally.
Yeah.
He's someone who I don't even want to, let's say admire, right? Apart from just his, especially as somebody who's an engineer, not just a lover of music, but like an engineer, like I studied him. Like I literally sat and for like dedicated 4 months of my life to like listen to everything Lee Scratch Perry. So like and after a while, when you get so intimate with somebody's work, you almost feel like you know them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I ended up meeting him some years ago. The first time, a friend of mine had just mentioned to me that he was in town. This time I was in Orlando, and I was just like, what do you mean he in town? He's like, yeah, he playing at the back booth later. I was like, okay, so you know what I mean? Cancel all classes for the day. Like, I going downtown now and just hang around until the doors open, because I'm going in and I'm going to go meet him. So I literally like skipped classes that day, went downtown, and
this is not advice. This is not scholar advice, by the way, to the listeners.
No. I'm a bad example. Please do not emulate anything that I say on the show. But yes, I went and stood in line. By this time, there was a bunch of screaming, like people from the mountains of Caucasoid who were there in front of me, just totally geeked out, because the thing about it, it isn't just the music, it's him. Like, if you know anything about Scratch Perry, he is one of a kind. Like, he's an eccentric in the truest sense of the word. All I have to do is see a picture of him. Like, he's not normal. This is the man who, when he would start mixing a record, would show like, he would have to have like a bottle of white rum, so he could throw it in each corner of the room before he start mixing, and like things like that. Like, he just was one of a kind. But he was a real pioneer. And his genius, unfortunately, he's one of them people who I don't use as an example of your genius maybe isn't understood at home, but understood abroad. Like, I think he's one of those types of artists. I think he's one of his last albums, he had like Keith Richards from the Rolling Stones on it. Like, how can the people just like know this man caliber? But condolences to him and to his family, and his friends and loved ones and his fans, who span the globe. He's been nominated for Grammys multiple times. He's a Grammy winner. Worked with legendary studios, pretty much all the legendary studios. Studio One. He started his own studio after he got thrown out at the second one. And started Upsetter Studio. But yeah, man, that's a real pioneer there. We have a call on the line now. Caller, good morning. You're live on Island T. Oh, last caller. I think somebody's trying to get back in. Good morning, caller. You're live on Island T.
Good morning, Island T. We just echoing the condolences to families and friends and everyone concerning Lee Scratch Perry. That man is a musical scientist,
Yeah, man.
You talk about Bob Marley, Lee Scratch Perry is the man. It's a teacher, Yeah, I'm terrible. I just was looking for an interview he did with
Did we just get disconnected?
Yeah, I think we
I
lost
think so.
don't know what happened there. But each road, feel free to call back. And but yeah, like, and I think people don't recognize when we say pioneer, like this thing we call reggae. This thing we call reggae, like this is Scratch Perry. Like you had ska, you had rocksteady, and then this thing that we now call reggae that taking over the world. Like, he is a huge part of what we know now as reggae. Like he was producing songs for our kind of people. Never don't even bother to talk about his own personal track. So including Bob Marley, as the caller said just now. So yeah, but it is a huge loss for the music fraternity, not just in Jamaica, not just the Caribbean, but worldwide. And yeah, definitely he'll be missed. But his music and his contribution will live on. So yeah, big up Scratch Perry one time, bye. I've never met such an eccentric man. I spoke to him and I didn't understand anything he was saying, and I understood everything he was saying at the same time. He's definitely one of a kind and a genius in his own right.
It's sad.
Yeah, man. You know, but he lived a full life, man. He died at 85.
Yeah, let me double check. Yep, 85.
Yeah.
So.
All right.
Let's jump to another topic on Tea Time.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk a little bit about some encouragement. So consumers are being encouraged to always request a receipt when purchasing goods or services. So SKN, you are heavily encouraged to always request a receipt because it serves as a legally binding document that indicates one has paid for a particular item. In the cases of receipt, that is a legal binding document to prove that yes, you did indeed purchase this item from your store. Before time, we used to make sure that we ask the suppliers to have this done. Some people tell us that they don't have it in their system and that they would prefer to do a handwritten receipt, said Trista Watley Stennant, Senior Consumer Affairs Officer during the August 25th edition of Working for You. Mrs. Watley Stennant, I hope I'm saying that right, said that suppliers ask that suppliers give receipts and consumers also to request one. This isn't not anything new, adding that under the Consumer Protection Bill, it's a requirement going forward. We used to have it done before, but it has strengthened that a supplier of goods and services shall provide a written record for each transaction to the consumer to whom goods and services are supplied, she said. She also added that the record must have the supplier's name or registered business name, the address and the premises of where the goods and services are supplied from, the date, time, name, and description of goods or services that were supplied, the unit price for each good and service, quantity, total price, the amount of terms of taxes, and the total price for the entire transaction. Paul Quealy, Director of the Department of Consumer Affairs, said that the receipt or sale record are important for several reasons and serve as an effective tool to communicate between suppliers and consumers. So, long story short, you're buying anything, ask for a receipt. Keep your receipt.
Yeah, definitely. I think that receipts go a long way with people who really budget as well. Like, it's a good way to keep track of spending.
Yep.
Yeah, some people, you know, that works better than, say, going back through you, especially, and the thing too, you miss some of the transactions because sometimes you use cash, sometimes you use cards, so everything might not be like in your bank statement or on your online banking. So yeah, the receipts is a way to think. I know people literally go through the receipts at the end of the week and just
do a little tally. You know, people just take the checkbook and do the little thing.
Yeah, do the checkbook and balance the checkbook. All these things you buy. School teaching you buy. You know. But I know how to read a Venn diagram. I can tell you that.
I don't. But I don't read anything. I read just math things. When the math things though, just leave me out.
I think Venn diagrams are important though. Venn diagrams are one of them things that I have come into contact with multiple times. Not saying that is one of them things if they had not told me in school I wouldn't know what it is. I feel like that's one of them things like if you look at it you could be like, oh okay, yeah, these two things overlap, okay, shared by both, okay, yeah. but hey, look here, big pet peeve now. Big pet peeve, since you jump on what we taught in school. Sorry going off on a tangent here if you don't like it. But look, children, I know we live in a digital world. I know all of that. I know they all have phones now and iPads. I know this. Children should still know how to read analog clocks with the long hand and the short hand. I'm finding too many children who ain't know how to read the clocks. What going on with that? What happened to
the digital age?
They stopped doing the stamp. I sure
oh
I
my
could.
God, the stamp! The stamp.
The clock
the
stamp.
teacher stamped a bunch of clocks in your book, and you got to draw the hand. The stamp.
Dude, I'm sure I could still find one of them Independence books that they used to give out at Independence time, where at least 76% of the pages are stamped with clocks. Like
the stamp.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I haven't seen a child with a stamp in the book in years, and it's showing.
Well, so I hope we still tell time because analog. Which one is analog? I hope we still tell analog time because I know everybody's on the digital wave. Children most likely will have like digital watches. They probably have a little cell phone with the digital time on it. The iPad have a digital time on it.
Yeah.
They're watching TV. The TV got a little digital clock on it. So we still teaching children how to tell time in analog because it's analog still exists. So
yeah. And look, okay, I teach sound, right? Like sound, like mixing and sound. Yes. 90% of the time now, you walk up to a show, you're gonna get a digital console, right? But I still teach analog first. Like if you understand the analog, you understand the digital. Like you still have to know where stuff comes from. Like, yeah, witty, they really used to mess up your whole book for sure. But definitely important and an integral part of my childhood are the stamp pages in my book. Full of clocks. So that was my little rant and my little tangent for the day. Yeah, we're going now with the clock now. We're going now with the clock now. Anyway.
Show us the clocks, please.
Yeah. To the people on the live, when last year I see a child book with clocks in it?
Well, I'm being told that they still use the stamp in Nevis.
That's why Nevis doing things. That's why Nevis manufacturing my son, sir.
Yeah, in here, Nevis doing things.
Bro, and just random tangents. So there might be random. This might be the random tangent half hour. Guys, NHC, I'm speaking directly to you. You guys need to get on a Zoom call with NHC in Nevis. Because whatever they're doing over there, they're doing it right. Right? However they set up the housing program, can we please take some notes? In the words of Notorious B.I.G., relax and take notes. Please. Gotta do better. I don't like it. I don't like it. But yeah, but Nevis got going on right now, and I think we may have just discovered. I think we might have just discovered the source of the innovation. They're still doing the stamps. They're still doing the stamps in Nevis. That's probably what's going on. Hopefully we get some stamps back.
Fingers crossed.
Anyway.
Miss our stamps.
Yes. Duke, you may proceed, sir.
Thank you, kind sir. Let's talk about Barbados. Oh my God, Jade.
Barbados. Hey, Barbados. Every time it seems like Barbados is in the news for something good, which normally is anti-mayor just doing amazing anti-mayor things. It's like the universe just got to counteract everything that anti-mayor trying to do with just something like way out of the way. Let the people know what's going on in Barbados.
This is Jade's pick, by the way, just so everybody is clear. Jade's pick, just so you know. So, Barbados prepares for a possible.
Just read it.
Barbados prepares for a possible outbreak of the African swine fever.
Excuse me? Say that again? I didn't quite hear.
Barbados prepares for a possible outbreak of African swine fever.
All you could do is laugh here, because if you laugh, you ain't quiet.
The senior I could never say this word. Somebody need to please tell me how to say it. Veterinary.
Yes, veterinary.
The senior veterinary officer in the Ministry of Agriculture, Mark Trotman, says that although there are no reports of the highly infectious African swine fever in the country, agriculture officials are on high alert and have a preparedness plan hinged on 4 pillars to prevent, address, and respond to the disease if the need arises. Speaking during a press briefing on Friday, Trotman pointed out that the disease affects pigs only, and therefore Barbadians are encouraged to still eat local pork. He informed the nation that while the disease posed no immediate risk to public health, it could significantly affect the pork industry and the economic health of the country. Trotman shared that the Veterinary Services Unit had been monitoring the spread of the virus for the past 2 years and has been trying to make plans and put things in place to see how we can best address that risk and make sure that we are prepared to do so. In the first instance, keep it out, and if it does enter, to also be able to respond rapidly to it. Long story short, they're bracing themselves for this because it keeps going on and on and on. But
what was the advice? What was the advice of the What was the guy who was giving the advice? What was he? He's a veterinarian, health official. Who was he?
Rotman, who is the senior veterinary officer in the Ministry of Agriculture.
And what was the advice? The first set of advice that he gave?
The first one is to wait. Which one? You talk about eat local pork?
Yes.
It's funny. I quit.
Best advice you could give in the midst of a crisis. Best advice you could give in the midst of a crisis. Bye. Oh, you know something too that again, random tangent there. I have 2 random tangents on this one. Okay, so the first thing is, you ever realize whenever we declare war on something, like as a nation or as a people, we always lose? So we keep calling like the COVID, like we're declaring the war on the COVID virus, like that don't really give me a lot of we done had war on drugs, we done had war on poverty, we done
war on swine.
We got war on swine now. That's one. And then 2, speaking of pandemics affecting pork and food and everything else in our lives, I was scrolling through what do you call it, YouTube this past weekend, and I saw a headline. I'm actually trying to find the actual headline so I could read it verbatim. But it basically was speaking about how the COVID-19 virus has really negatively affected tourism, and that's something that we we know as good as we know as much about as anybody else. But then they then went and linked it to how that has been affecting like sex work, and did a whole like video on it, which I haven't watched yet, but I intend to if I could find it. But I just was just thinking like, is every single aspect of life this thing affect, every single
one
aspect of life. Oh, we have a caller here. If I could call up. Okay. It's not that I don't want to answer the phone. I'll be trying.
The phone does not want to be answered.
Okay, hold on. Let's try it again. Yes, let's try this. Good morning, caller 11 Island T. What's up?
Morning, good morning, good
Morning.
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 Well, I was celebrating last night and I did pray, Lord Jesus, I hope they have on the mass. I was listening to the cricket.
Right.
And the amount of noise and shouting. You're watching it too?
Unfortunately, I couldn't watch it. I was at the Calypso tent.
Well, you got where duty call, you must be.
Indeed.
But the amount of noise when we're winning. For those who are, I think I asked somebody, do you have a mask? I had to ask the question. I said, we here talking about music. Well, the amount of noise they were making.
Mm-hmm.
I heard some music.
Yeah, I've seen clips with music being played. Like,
Yeah, because I hear people say they had the music. I say that can't be true because I heard music. Well, you know, can't see, so it depends on what I hear. Now, another thing, that's one. The other thing I want to talk about is the swine flu.
Right.
I think they mentioned it here, And I think they said they were keeping an eye on Brazil. Because there's not a lot of pork that we buy. Import
Yeah.
comes from Brazil.
I didn't know that.
You didn't know that?
Well, I mean, I really don't keep up with the pork market.
Our pork industry. By selling the pork, you could buy pork $4 and all, so a pound for something a pound. When the local one is twice the price.
Oh.
I have been to the agriculture planning there, like when they're having this thing, and some people have to go out of business because these you have to import the feed. It isn't just feeding pig slop like before.
Right. So the cost of production is so much higher.
Cost of production, the feed. And then some people say, look, well, maybe they should put a ban on the Brazilian pork. Because if you're doing barbecue, as much as you like, buy local and we talk it. You're looking at the bottom line.
We do Colombian pork here too?
Eh? That's how you do it when you're barbecuing pork ribs, no? If you're selling pork ribs, barbecue pork, it is more economical to buy the
imported.
Something.
Right, the imported, yeah.
And very few of us can stop to say. And even if you went and bought the local pork, and you try to sell it to the local, they say, they're not going to want to buy from you, because somebody will have the Brazilian pork. Now in Barbados, I used to go there often, go to the doctor, my daughter lives there. In the country area, they produce a lot of pork, So many people have pigs.
Yeah.
I was surprised.
Yeah, I have friends even in Mansion, Molyneux area. Yeah.
I said, boy, you got on the road pigs. The person raising pigs. I said, look at that. Well, they have more space in the country, yeah?
Yeah, man.
And the law in saying it, so you're not supposed to keep animals 3 miles. They must be kept 3 miles outside of the city. But in St. Peter's and in country area and St. John's and those parts, yeah? Man, look at everybody trying to sell. When in that pig is poultry. Now, I'm saying good morning to my Christian friend Cleo. You see, mother, she has not forgiven you yet. because I haven't heard them out. Yeah, the Christian thing to do is
as I'm upset though.
The morning she called, I was concerned about her. You know why? The hurricane, they said, had done some damage to Connecticut. I was trying to call in to find out if she had suffered any damage. Because, you know, it did New Jersey, Connecticut, Rhode Island. And they were talking about the damage and the out of electricity. And then she came on, but she didn't give me a chance to ask her how the thing is. So, Claire, I'm waiting to hear your voice again.
Yes, my dear friend, I hope you are okay.
You know, I mean, I say she's allowed Kevon and just done him to blap.
Lord, man, no. But you know, this is the first time Claire went missing, you know.
Wait. The Bible says, who you love, you reprimand. That's Bible, you know. If you love somebody and they're doing something, you correct them. Now people don't see it that way. And in terms of the corona, it's a war. You may win a battle, but the war continues. You get it? It takes many battles to make a war.
So, I suppose, but I still waiting to hear the war that we've won.
The war continues.
But the war like it never done by.
Well, boy, what's happening in Afghanistan?
Well,
People trying to leave and they're trying missiles and they're bombing and whatever. They're supposed to leave tomorrow, you know. They can't wait. I want to know what the Americans intend to do on their way out.
I mean, what they intend to
Cross
do?
your mind?
They plan to go about the business. This is
They ain't gonna walk off, so. They already start to bomb the ISIS-K. And the ISIS-K thing is. So I said, boy, so like, you wake up the 1st of September, Afghanistan gone back to war.
Well, the war can continue, but I don't...
Yeah, the custom, you know. You read the Bible, when you read the Bible, right? I tell people they must learn to love to read the Bible. Lord, they fight. They fight, they lose, they win, they fight, they lose, they win. That is what's going on up in Israel, you know. Some people killing up themselves. Them they are born to fight. It's in their destiny to fight one another. You know, if you make peace tomorrow, they say they had a truce the other day. The truce say, well, sign off. Some of us are trying missiles. Well, and I don't understand. If you know you're going to get the worst, you're going to pick a fight?
Sometimes it ain't about losing. Sometimes it's about standing up. Yeah.
You're going to be on your back soon.
Yeah. They'd rather be put there than to just
God bless them and God bless the nation.
Yeah.
And pray for our country. And y'all please, from Wednesday they're giving the Pfizer, so please call the clinics and book your name. There's no more excuses. All right then.
All right.
But wait till you clear this morning, you know, because I know you're listening.
Pick up clear one time. Oh boy. It's gonna be interesting to see. It's gonna be interesting to see what the numbers are for the vaccination. It's interesting to see that they went up.
Yeah.
And I don't know how many people have been waiting for the Pfizer. I still believe that the intention is to give that to the kids. But
well, I would think that because that was the like when we were speaking to Rhoda on Friday, she also discussed that was the Trinidadian plan, that they were trying to make sure that the Pfizer that they have is more primarily geared towards the issuing it towards the younger population, since it's approved for the younger population. Yeah. So I hope that those persons that are interested in having their teens vaccinated take advantage of this opportunity, and I hope as well that the general population gives the teens the opportunity to take advantage of the opportunity and not
I'm just waiting to see what
consume
happens. Yeah, fruits. But we have a caller, Kevon. Caller, good morning. You're live on ILT.
Yes, sir. Good morning.
Morning.
Yes. Right. To follow up on something, the caller a while ago was saying, right, about I guess she was trying to say, but talk about people buying local stuff over foreign stuff. But we should realize by now that Christians don't do that. For instance, right, there's a place across by the movies that is operated and run by a foreign person that roast breadfruit and sell it. And, if, as long as people are here doing business and, just to start a business and they expect to get customers and stuff. And I'm not saying that we shouldn't think somebody, patronize people. But that is not the first. He are not the first person who start like roast breadfruit and said Kitishans would have done that. And when another Kitishan doing, Kitishan is saying, "Oh, me? I'm gonna buy no roast breadfruit. I'm crazy. We're gonna eat roast breadfruit." But the guy is doing it now and he's selling roast breadfruit and he's making lots of money from it. Look at the guy who used to be outside of Scotia, not Scotia anymore, I don't really remember that, doing the smoothies. You're not the first person who in St. Kitts who do smoothies. I guess, I'm sure when he came here, he probably see people doing it, but did not, get died out because Kitishans did not patronize them like they patronize him. Sometimes you see there a whole line of people they're waiting for smoothie before the guy before who I know who I know he did it. I think he passed now. He is a bartender. He was a bartender. At one time he operated his own restaurant. But people, locals wasn't buying his stuff.
So what you're saying is that you think that the success of some of these people is more linked to the fact that they're not local as opposed to the way they do business?
Yeah, right. You're right. That they are not local.
Oh, okay.
It's not.
Okay.
I have to disagree.
Well, okay, yeah. Well, everybody,
I think
agreement.
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying because of the way it looks. But for me, it's more about I think that the foreigners, meaning persons that aren't local, they are more adventurous in starting businesses than locals. They're more willing to take the risks and start up a business.
They're no more adventurous than the people here. Kitishans hear a different accent, and then they go to that. The Kitishans gravitate to people's accent. That is what's going on. They come here and they talk the local twang. Just like we got the local twang, they talk their local twang, and they run towards that. Nothing about that they do the thing, because the guy who I tell you why started that first, the guy who does the smoothie ain't as qualified as the guy was as in a bartending. But he think he's not a Kittishan, and that's how it is. That is how Kittishan do. That is how we do things. We prefer to support somebody else's thing than our own thing, because first thing that's the who buy. I'm not making you a lot of money. You crazy? That's how they're gonna look at you. They seeing you making a lot of money. Even though you start up something and you might hire 2-3 other persons with you, they see the person who start the thing as getting rich. I'm making thing. It was if you had a little shop, you start with a little knock-up shop, and then you go by TDC or Ashford and buy some T111 and make it look nicer. That's it for you. You're dead. And that's how we do things. We don't support we own people to see us grow. So that in the hope that the person who is growing will pull up somebody else with them. We don't do it so. So the lady before was right about local. Who Kittishan is gonna go buy thing? I know he just feed the pig ready. Me see he just pick up all breadfruit and thing. But the breadfruit that the person is picking up from under the tree is better than the feed that the Brazilian or even these here would go in the stores and buy to feed the pig. The breadfruit is better than thing. You got fresh water. They used to feed the pigs and so with molasses, water and stuff like that of that nature. That is much better than what they be feeding the animals out there with. So, but people not gonna buy your stuff, or they wouldn't buy it as much as they buy the foreign stuff. All right, thanks. Let's continue to listen to your program, and good program as usual.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I do believe there's some local bias in terms of interacting with persons, but I also do believe that it may be a lot of times when persons leave their country and go to another country, they tend to be a bit more industrious. Because you go into another land, people don't generally leave their place, go to another place to sit on the laurels and relax. Like, people go there to make a better, with the expressed purpose of making a better life, and so they work towards that. I think that has something to do with it. In terms of locals who would have gotten support, I mean, even after they would have taken this step to grow and to build out and to think, I think we see a couple of examples of that for sure. One of the main examples coming to my head would be Spratnet as an example. You know, when them start on the side of the road selling fish and thing, and the father and all of that.
Now it's a full-blown business.
Yeah, man, a staple, like a staple. You know, so yeah, I think there may be some bias there, but I think it's a bit more nuanced than just people walk out there and supporting local. So,
yeah, and you know, somebody sent me a message on a different platform, but they wanted to contribute to the topic, and they were saying that they think, which I have to agree with, that customer service plays a role as well. I think that, you know, unfortunately, more foreigners have much better customer service than locals on your average basis, and people go where they feel welcome, not where they want, not where they feel like ordering a meal is an annoyance to the owner.
Yeah. I guess I think there's several variables that play into the difference between the approach to business from, you know, foreigners who come in here trying to make a better life and locals. So I don't know if it's just simple, or you're just local, full stop, and we're gonna support you. I think sometimes it may be even the presentation of the business, having a nice sign, having a whatever, you know, maybe recognizing location. Sometimes it's just exposure to what works. Sometimes they're just emulating something that they would have seen work in their country where they came from.
Yeah.
So, you know, little things.
Having a model to follow.
Yeah, they have a model to follow and of success, and they emulate it here. So even though we might be doing the exact same thing, like, okay, example, making smoothies, perhaps I recognize the smoothie stands where I came from that was successful were the ones where they have the fresh fruit on display, as opposed to the ones where the guy maybe already have them chop up in a cooler somewhere. People tend to gravitate to that. You know, like different things like that.
The ones that where people could pick their fruit, people could see what they could pick.
Yeah, they could pick the
fruit. And
just right.
A board on a menu, a board menu.
Right.
With the fruit and stuff. Yeah, there's lots of variables.
Yeah, lots of variables. So, but I mean, the truth is, you have to, if you're in something that is that several people are doing, you have to find ways to remain competitive. You have to find ways to set yourself apart, and a lot of times I feel like that's not what's happening. So hopefully, you know, people listening, especially locals, because I want to see the locals do well and receive support, and so, you know, find ways to make your business the one that people choose to support. However you do that, whether it's stepping up service, quality of product, whether it is stepping up your customer service, perhaps shifting location, like, you know, all of these things are things you have to look at. There are a lot of variables when we're talking about how successful a business is and can be. So
yeah.
Oh boy. Oh,
no,
going crazy. I want to here. Something happened to me, you know. Good morning, caller. You're live on LNT.
What happened to me? I don't know. You got to. Kevon got to read a psalm a day. Hey, me is blowing off. Kevon, you got to ask him how it's going on.
It helps me to process my thoughts.
Yeah, you're laughing. Anyway,
it's a good way to release a subject.
Eh? You want
it's a good way to release, you know, a subject.
I would say peace, you know. Or contentment. Try contentment. You know what contentment mean, right?
Of course.
Yeah, it don't just mean settling for anything. It means accepting where you are and working your way out of it. You know, so you will be less frustrated, because life could be frustrating, because every time when you blow off, I say, my poor soul. Anyway, I call to agree with you in terms of the customer service. But what I find in St. Kitts, unlike Jamaica, Guyana, Trinidad, the people are selling as a mean of survival. We here selling as if, well, if you want it, you come for it.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I lived in Jamaica for 2 years. You only got to peep. Come mother, come daughter. They pull off your shoes and try on one, you know what I mean? They're ready to negotiate. They treat you with respect.
Mm-hmm.
But in St. Kitts, I don't know about Nevis, they try to serve you on a personal basis. They look and see.
Yeah, definitely.
They know you. How they know you, they treat you. So they have the thing, well, we from the same village, the same street, we went to the same school. So you're going to do business and they're dealing with you on a personal basis.
Mm.
So if they don't like you, they just ignore you. Ignore you, you know.
Yeah.
And if you try to draw attention to yourself, you can't wait. You have to be doing something. Now, you see, when people have options, because sometimes in seconds we don't know how well off we are, you know, you got to travel. I wish everybody would travel. We don't know how well off we are.
Yeah, that's true.
When your livelihood depends on a job. You see, some people don't want it, but when you can afford to walk off, leave a job, some people, they will have to die first. We well off, I don't want to do that, I could do something else. You see the Ghanaians and the Jamaicans and so who sell? Look at the attitude. They try to please you.
Yeah, hustle.
You know, because that is how they come from. So when they come here, and when our people go where they do the same thing too, why they can't do it here? Customer service here is terrible because they're dealing with, they're like Azem. Azem could come in with a whole store full. Azem, what you want?
Right.
You know? But we got to get past that and learn to do business.
Yeah.
And stop complaining. You said the man who has the thing you're talking about? You know, he own a farm now? Oh, you don't know that?
No.
Boy, the man used to buy his pineapple and thing, and so he must have got a 3 or 10 acre farm in the country. He no longer has to buy his supplies.
Right.
He has people working on a farm producing.
So he could control this thing and keep his costs down too?
Yeah. He has control of the supply of the goods.
Right.
He could lower the price because he go in quantity.
He could control the
The young man Moses also has a farm too, you know, the guy in his man who sell outside the court's door. He has a big farm with people working for him. So before time he would buy his supplies, now he produces them. We have got to learn to think. We're not just sellers, we are producers. And that is what is beating a lot of people with the Guyanese and them who come in. They're going to produce the things they must undersell you because the cost of production is less.
Right.
You know, all right then. So I agree with Kevon.
Right. I appreciate it. Thank you. Well, guys, I think that the general consensus is that we just have to find ways to be more competitive, and we heard some suggestions as to how we could go about doing that. But we're gonna have to close the show. As a matter of fact, Kevon not gonna leave me, and since Jade decided that she was just gonna sleep this morning instead of come do the show, you can imagine Jade just messaged us 9:53 talking about, oh, I needed to sleep. I needed my beauty rest. Right, that's what life coming to. Anyway, that's how they be. But guys, it's been a pleasure. It's Monday, August 30th. August is just about finished, guys. We're getting to the end of the year. It's always a good time to look back. Look at exactly what the year has been for you. What is yet to be achieved that you plan to achieve. And find ways to make those dreams a reality. Yeah, I tend to do that at the end of the month. At the end of the month, I tend to look back and be like, "What was supposed to do this month? I main do. Okay, let's get on it." But guys, it's been a pleasure again. All the callers who called in, appreciate you. All you guys on the live, big up yourself. Witty, Axman, J2D, DJ Shabang, the usual culprits. Appreciate you being here with us daily on Facebook and on YouTube at WINNMedia SKN. Of course, you could listen to us as well on the WINNMediaSKN.com, WINNMedia's website, and of course on the radio at 98.9. Big up Auntie Donna. It's been a while since we big up on the radio, but yeah, she's doing good. So big up yourself, Auntie. All the Nevis listeners, I went over to Nevis on the weekend, and a bunch of people let me know that they've been listening to the show. Thank you guys, all our Nevis friends over there, brothers and sisters. Big up yourself. But guys, it's time to end the show. And we're gonna be back here tomorrow, same time, same place. So don't forget to join us. And remember, you can't be everybody's cup of tea because you is not a mug. See you guys.